What's up, everybody? I'm Guy Wozniak. You're watching the Comic Book Guy channel, and as always, I am joined with my good friend and co-host, Matt.
Hello.
And yes, we are the Comic Book Guys. And Matt had a good idea to talk about not exactly like what books you should collect, but maybe like how you should collect. And this kind of builds off of another video idea that I did a week or two ago. You remember when I said, collect key issues first?
Yes.
And people complained that key issues are expensive.
Yes.
So this kind of could bounce off of that a little bit in that Matt's suggestion, well, I'll let you lead into it. What were you suggesting for like a method or a way to approach collecting?
Okay, well, say you want to start collecting comics, but you don't know where to start. Of course, the obvious way is to buy new books as they come out, and you're paying for those as those issues come out, obviously.
Like this one.
Yeah, that's an easy one. That's an easy way to start collecting. But what I thought is when you start collecting older stories and older comics, because there's just so many out there. I mean, there's so many stories and characters and writers and artists you could be following and reading about. And I thought a really good, easy way to start to get into that was by collecting not just stories in an entire series, like, I want to start collecting X-Men.
Yeah.
So, well, obviously that's going to be a very expensive to do, starting with X-Men #1 and going all the way up. That's going to be really, really expensive. So, I mean, I would suggest just maybe starting off collecting just a portion of that series, following a certain story arc or a writer and artist team that you really like. Like the only X-Men books I have are Claremont books. That's all I have. That's all the X-Men titles I have because he's an excellent writer, tells a great story, and so that's all I have. And of course, there are some keys in there, but nowhere near as expensive as, say, the early issues of the X-Men would be.
Yeah, so like the way that I thought about this when you suggested the idea to me was like, I'd suggested in that video, collect your key issues first, get those out of the way. And before that, I had mentioned have a plan. This all kind of goes into that where it's like, okay, I love Amazing Spider-Man, but I can't afford Amazing Spider-Man #1 or #2 or number 14. So my plan when I got back into collecting recently was like, okay, I'm going to attack the Todd McFarlane issues 298 through 328. Mm-hmm. So that was my plan. I'm going to get back into Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm going to get the McFarlane issues, and I'm going to get the key issues first. Yeah. So 300, 298, 299, 316. And like you had suggested, maybe pick an artist or pick a story arc or pick a writer that you like and approach it from that way. I thought that was such a genius way to kind of express what I was trying to get the point across in that video, last week.
Yeah. Like the Spider-Man, I'm a big Spider-Man fan myself, but my entire Spider-Man collection is just focused on Roger Stern.
Yeah.
Roger Stern was an amazing writer, and I have all the Roger Stern Spider-Man books. But then I'm a huge John Romita Sr. fan, so I do have all these sporadic John Romita Sr. books too. I have, little bits and pieces here and there of John Romita stuff, mostly covers that are really striking to me or stories that I thought were really compelling, things like that.
Sure. Now, what if, again, your plan is to go after, like you said, Chris Claremont X-Men. I want to get into X-Men. I mean, if you're not sure where to start with X-Men, Chris Claremont's X-Men, Uncanny X-Men are the best ones. But even within that, there's some stuff that's like really expensive. Giant Size X-Men #1, X-Men #94. There's some really pricey books in there.
Yeah.
So even then, it'd be like, oh, well, I can't afford these books. I mean, there's alternatives. For example, compendiums.
Compendiums, absolutely. I highly, highly recommend buying some compendiums or omnibuses and stuff, or even like you want to get all of the Moons, but you can't afford that 98 because it's expensive. Get the facsimile edition.
You had the facsimile in 98
forever. I had the facsimile forever, just waiting for it to fill that slot. And I've got the story, the artwork is there, everything. Yeah, there's no problem with that. But yeah, right now I'm reading through my G.I. Joe omnibus that Image put out. It's fantastic. It's great. I highly recommend snagging one of those. Like the G.I. Joe omnibus, they just came out with the second one, so they have the first 100 issues of G.I. Joe there. And I think they're coming out with the third, and that's it, because that's 155 issues. That's the original Marvel G.I. Joe run. I highly recommend buying that. That's a real fun book to read. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, so there's other alternatives if you fall into the trap of like, this is what I want to collect, but I still can't afford it. I mean, if I wanted to collect X-Men, like, the Claremont runs, I couldn't afford to fill those ones. But there are reprints of giant size X-Men. There are compendiums if I want to actually read these books. And if you're not really a reader, and that's another topic that we could probably delve off into, but if you just want to collect them for the sake of collecting, and a lot of people do that, they just like the art, they like the covers, they treat them maybe like baseball cards. It's like, oh, I have this thing in this container and I just like looking at this picture on the front of the cover. That's okay. Collect however you like to collect.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, maybe you just accept like, okay, this is going to take me a really long time to fill this run.
Yeah.
That is what it is. But that's okay. Like the hunt and like working towards it is part of the fun, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and finding those deals out there, those little hidden gems, that's so much fun. Just the rush you get when you find something like, oh my God, I've been looking for this, and this is a crazy low price. That's a lot of fun. You get like a little adrenaline rush. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
One of the runs that I've been working on is the Alan Moore Saga of Swamp Things. So we're talking issue 20 through, I think it goes to 68. It's not a huge run. It's 45 to 50 issues total. There's only really 2 or 3 kind of expensive books. His first couple, and then first appearance of John Constantine is issue number 37. But the rest of them, it's like, oh, I just found this for $4, $6, $8, whatever. And you just kind of go through boxes at stores, go through eBay, whatever, however you prefer to shop, and fill up those runs. And it's not as daunting of a proposition as like, oh, I got to get 1,000 copies of Amazing Spider-Man, or I got to get 8 different volumes of X-Men because they keep rebooting issue number 1 over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Pick little chunks and focus on that. I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with just picking like, a little chunk of books and starting there, and maybe expanding outward. That's definitely an option for people, and that's what I've been doing. Like excuse me, my Fantastic Four run. I only have the John Byrne issues. That's all I have.
What issues? What is the run with John Byrne? When did that start? I don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Is it in like the 40s or 50s, or is it like
no, way
later than that, right?
Than that,
yeah. I've never actually read much Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the John Byrne Fantastic Four is really good stuff. That's a lot of fun. In fact, the one John Byrne sketch I have is Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
When he was still doing commissions like years and years ago. That's the one thing. The first thing that popped into my head, I wanted to get him to do. Like I got on his list through his agent, and what do you want? Dr. Doom. Absolutely. That's what I got from him, and it's fantastic. That's the only thing I've ever been able to get from him.
Yeah. But, I mean, to reiterate, like the make a plan thing, I think so many people, and I got comments from people that, and when I posted that video, they're like, oh, I just, have so many books that it's like, I didn't really know what I was buying or why I was buying it. I just saw it. I liked it. I bought it. You will save yourself a ton of headache if you just like sit down and think for a minute of like, what is it that I really want? And like, I don't know, sometimes I just really want everything. So it's kind of difficult to come to the correct conclusion, but within the scope of what I can afford and what I could reasonably or realistically accomplish. I mean, hypothetically speaking, if pie in the sky, you won the lottery tomorrow, what's your like goal for your comic collection moving forward after winning the lottery? It's going to be different than what it is in reality today.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I win $1 billion lottery. Yeah, I'm buying all of Spider-Man. I'm buying every issue of Spider-Man, starting with Amazing Fantasy 15.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm buying that.
Hulk number 1. I'll have a copy or 2, please.
And I'd spend a lot of money on artwork too. I'd drop a lot of money on artwork.
Yeah.
I love collecting artwork. But I mean, I don't like pages so much. But I mean, some artists, that's all I can get is pages. Like. So that's what I would get if that's all that was available to me. But I like sketches and original artwork and stuff that hasn't been published. I like that more. But to each his own. Some people collect only printed pages.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fine. If that's your thing, you like that. Okay, cool. No problem with that. I know a guy that only collects covers.
Really?
Clearly has a lot of money.
Yeah, that's not a cheap way.
That's not a cheap
to go
way
with
to
your
start
collection.
collecting. But that's all he collects is published covers, and like. God bless you for having all that money to burn, man. I do not. So
yeah, I don't think I will ever own an original cover. But if you can do it, you can do it, and that would be awesome.
But another way I thought you could, a really good way that occurred to me for the people could, if they weren't sure what they wanted to get, where they wanted to go with their collection, is I collected the entire run of Marvel Team Up.
Oh, yeah. You were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, and what that is, it's a series that Marvel came out with, and it was Spider-Man, and in every issue he teams up with a different hero, and they go on like a different little adventure. It's a really fun series. I think it's 147 issues, so it went on for quite a while, and it's Spider-Man with someone else every issue, and it's a different story. You know, it's a new adventure every issue. Some of them, there's maybe one or two parters, but that's infrequent. And what it is you have different writers and artists jumping onto the book throughout its run. And you have a different hero, every issue, and the different writers and artists jumping in and out of the title constantly. So, I mean, if you're reading and you're like, man, who's this Cannonball guy? I want to read more about Cannonball. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a character that caught your interest and you want to read more about him. So the next thing you know, you're collecting everything Cannonball ever appeared in. Or, hey, who's this tiger character? What's she all about? There you go. That's how it's going to pique your interest, and you can start looking into that character and maybe buying more, the issues and stuff that they've been in.
And there's not a ton of super expensive issues in that run.
That is a really affordable run to collect.
Another one similar. It's all reprints, if I'm not mistaken. It was Marvel Tales. I think I showed you that Todd McFarlane has a ton of covers that are not his original covers from the Spider-Mans. But you can get, I think there's a reprint of ASM 129, the first appearance of Publisher, with a slightly different color variant of that classic Amazing Spider-Man cover. So that's another one you could look at is Marvel Tales. It's mostly reprints and stuff, but a cool series that could introduce you to some of these harder to find older Silver and Bronze Age books at a much, much more affordable price that still have great covers.
And really cool McFarlane covers, man. That they look really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, then another one was Marvel 2-in-1. That one was The Thing. And The Thing would team up with a different character every issue. That didn't run nearly as long. Well, I mean, I think it was over 100 issues. But that picked up right after the end of Secret Wars. And The Thing was doing, and then She-Hulk filled in for him on the Fantastic Four series.
Yep.
And so this was The Thing and going on little adventures, again, with a different, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm thinking of The Thing. I'm sorry, I mixed up books. The Thing series took up after Secret Wars. Marvel 2-in-1 was just The Thing teaming up with a different hero, in every issue. Okay. And again, different artists, different writers popping in and out. So yeah, it's a really good, and all those are really cheap. It's a good way to, hey, I really like this story. This was really well done. Or, hey, I really like this artwork. Who is this artist? And next thing you know, you're following this artist and picking up everything they have.
It's another one I liked when I was a kid. Kind of similar. Of course, the world famous Weapon X story arc was a part of the entire series, Marvel Comics Presents.
Yes, Marvel Comics Presents.
But and it's even not that expensive. Like if you don't own Marvel Comics Presents, the Weapon X series from issue 72 to 84, go buy it because Barry Windsor Smith. It's amazing. You get the whole series it's a few bucks, but I bet well under 100. I think you could get all 12 issues, but you could go back to the earlier issues. It was mostly Wolverine at the beginning, and it was always two stories. So you got like a 12-page Wolverine story and then a 12-page Hulk or a 12-page Ghost Rider or whatever. So it's another one of those series where it's like, I haven't been too exposed to different characters. You can get an introduction and then sort of decide like, oh, I like this character or I like this artist or this writer. And then you can start going after more of that character, that artist, and that writer. That's another great series. Or even the What If series. I mean, I was never a huge What If because I don't like the stuff that's like out of canon, where it's like, this doesn't really matter because it's not part of the actual continuity of the universe. But some people do really like the What If because it's just fun. That's another good series that you could probably pick up. Well, they had the Disney show a little while ago. Maybe that's
some of those are pretty pricey.
Yeah, so maybe that's part of the prices.
I got the full run of the original series. They did come out with a second series, which is way more affordable. But yeah, the original series is a little pricey, especially like I think the What If Jane Foster was Thor issue. Oh, yeah. That jumped up in value a little bit. But I mean, I got mine for $40. So it's not crazy expensive. But yeah, Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Team Up. you want to delve in and start experiencing different characters, different writers, different artists, I mean, for Marvel, that is the way to do it for sure. And it's not going to break the bank doing it.
Yep, great suggestions, and I'll reiterate the Marvel Comics Presents and the Marvel Tales. You can check all of those out too. I recommend all of those as well.
Omnibuses and like these collected editions and stuff.
Compendiums, omnibuses.
Yeah, some of them are like $100, but I mean, look at where you're getting.
Well, when you buy an omnibus, it's generally 50 issues of some series. I mean, for $100, you're talking basically $2 an issue in a nice bound book, hardcover with great high quality paper. It's not. I mean, I like the old newsprint on comics. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I love about the G.I. Joe editions that came out. It's on that old newsprint.
Oh yeah, they printed it on the newsprint. That is cool.
You open it up, it's got that smell, that old newsprint smell. That's good stuff.
But there is also something nice about having nice, bright, white paper with really glossy, like high-quality printing. So I enjoy the omnibuses for that aspect of it as well. But again, don't get me wrong. The newsprint, the original printing is kind of what makes the comic book magical.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so many options to figure out, like, what am I interested? What should I collect? And I just thought it would be a cool little discussion to kind of throw back and forth and put it out to you guys. When you decide how you're going to approach your collection, what do? Do you go after just everything and anything? Do you focus on characters, focus on creators? I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do it, right?
Yeah, sometimes focus on characters, sometimes you focus on creators, however you want to start collecting. It's a decision each person has to make on their own, how they want to pursue it. But yeah, I do want to give a special shout out to someone that left in the comments, because I talked about having my Crossed book.
Oh yeah,
that Crossed 100 plus, or Crossed plus 100, signed by Alan Moore, and I had said how I want to start reading this, but I don't know where to start. And someone was super helpful in the comments and told me exactly, okay, this is where you start. Then you go here, then read this, then read this, then read this. That's the kind of stuff we like seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have some recommendations, let us know. That stuff is super helpful. And hey, thank you so much. That was fantastic. And if anybody knows, because me and Guy are primarily Marvel guys. If somebody knows anything like Marvel Team Up or Marvel 2-in-1 for DC fans,
throw it out there.
Please let us know. You put it in the comments to help people, because this is all about helping each other out here in the community and showing the love for the hobby. I
mean, it's not that I dislike DC. It's just that for the superhero genre, outside of Batman, I don't care for much that DC has. But once you start looking at Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and Watchmen and V for Vendetta and Neil Gaiman's Sandman and Garth Ennis and the stuff he did on Hellblazer, it's suddenly DC's got some really crazy good stuff. But usually when we're talking about comics and we're talking about, the Jeopardy show or whatever, it's usually about superhero stuff. And I'm not into the Justice League. It's just not for me. I do have some love for DC, especially I have the entire run of The Flash when after Barry Allen died and Wally West took over, they rebooted the series. I loved that run. I thought it was really good stuff. I really enjoyed reading that, especially the whole thing when they thought Barry came back, but it turned out to be Reverse Flash. And that was really good stuff. That was a lot of fun reading that. And then, of course, the Justice League series by Giffen, DeMatteis, and Kevin Maguire. That is just gold. That is fantastic stuff. That is a sitcom on the printed page. Yeah.
That was hilarious, great, fun stuff.
I've only ever really, from DC's, superhero stuff, I've only really ever read Batman, and not even a ton of it. The classics, the Year One.
Oh, of course.
The Death of Robin, the Jim Lee's Hush. Nightfall, yeah. That's pretty much all the stuff that I've ever read.
Yeah.
That's superhero related. I've never even read Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I know people are going to be like, what? How could you not have read that? I've never
read that, yeah.
I've never owned it. I should probably buy the trade paperback and pick it up and read it, but
yeah, it's a good read.
Yeah, I don't know. Just always, Marvel just always kind of resonated with me more, the characters and the stories, so it is what it is.
Yeah. If you hear everybody talking about a book, hey, this is really good, you hear it brought up several times and you haven't read it, go get the trade. Yeah. Read it. You should. It's because, everybody's talking it up for a reason, because it's good stuff. I think you might be able to find that stuff online, so read it digitally,
Well, what else? Is there any cherry on top that we need to put on this topic, or is it all been covered? I mean, like I said, make a plan, stick with the plan. That's kind of the main thing. Like, yes, key issues are expensive, but you know, if you're reasonable with yourself, like I have been, like, you know, I can't collect every issue of Amazing Spider-Man as bad as I want it. You know, break it down into more manageable chunks. Stick with your favorite artists, favorite creators, like Matt said. That's just a fantastic idea. I don't know what else we could say on the topic. Anything?
That's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions or suggestions of their own, hey, by all means, as always, let us know in the comments.
Alrighty, well, we will wrap this one up for today. Let me say thanks for tuning in and watching. As always, we definitely appreciate it. And yeah, we'll wrap this one up by saying, keep watching our videos, keep collecting comics, and until the next one, bye now.
Bye now.